Yo! Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk of Elite Wages. I am your host, Elite Wages, and this is going to be the EPL English Premier League Week 4, I believe. Obviously been breaking down NFL and Premier League on a weekly basis. Last week didn't have a Premier League episode. Technical difficulties made it very, very difficult and very frustrating for me. But back this week, so as always, want to send you over to my Twitter. Make sure you're following, notifications turned on, and then you can obviously go through some of my tweets and previous episodes and things like that. Similar thing with YouTube. Make sure you're over there subscribing, turn notifications on. Check out my latest videos for both NFL and EPL. Little recap from last week's EPL betting. I think we actually ended virtually, we ended no profit, no loss. So EPL week 4, so it's week 5 this week, sorry. So NFL week 4, 2-1 for plus 0 units, so break even from last week. A little bit disappointing to get that push on one of the games. But money back is better than money lost, I suppose. So we'll get straight into the fan team contest, the weekly monster contest over on fan team. So head yourself over to fan team. EPL weekly monster week 5, £20 buy-in, £13,000 prize pool. I'm going to run down my basically a team reveal who I like from each position. Breaking down a little bit on why and things like that. So in terms of the goalkeeper area, there's a lot you could pick from. Obviously, Emi Martinez being the most expensive. He's a decent player. Obviously, very, very good anyway against one of the newly promoted teams that have just come up to the league. Sunderland obviously bagged a few goals against West Ham in their opening day. Then lost 2-0 to Burnley, beat Brentford 2-1 as well. So they have been able to score a few goals in the Premier League. But myself, have gone for Sanchez. Obviously, Chelsea against Man United is the big game for Saturday. Sorry, it's one of those. Man United have really struggled to score goals. Really. Lost 1-0 against Arsenal, drew 1-1 against Fulham, obviously lost against Grimsby in the Cup, beat Burnley 3-2, but that was we made it very, very difficult for ourselves, and then lost 3-0 against Man City. Chelsea, on the other hand, drew 0-0 against Palace, won 5-1 against West Ham, 2-0 against Fulham, 2-2 against Brentford. So they have had a few clean sheets. As you can see here, Sanchez has been able to get 2 clean sheets and some decent save points as well. So 3 saves against Brentford, 1 save against Fulham with the clean sheet. West Ham, 3 saves, didn't get the clean sheet, but technically could have. And then a few saves and a clean sheet against Crystal Palace. So there's no doubt United are going to be able to shoot. They've got players that can shoot and can score. I just think the Chelsea defense is going to be a lot better than the United offense. So I'm going for Sanchez in goal. I'm going to double stack him with Cucurella. Cucurella has missed a game, I believe. No, he hasn't actually. But if you see there, the first 3 games, he's got 5 or more fantasy points. Obviously, clean sheet in that game there against Palace. Got the assist in the West Ham game. Clean sheet again against Fulham. And then he had a shot on target for the game against Brentford. But obviously, being subbed off against Brentford, he was back for Chelsea midweek against Bayern, managing to play the full game. But this is a game, again, like I said, I think the defence is going to be a lot better than the offence for Man United. And I think Cucurella and Sanchez can be a good double stack for this week. And hopefully they can clean sheet, and maybe even Cucurella can get up there and get an assist as well. Van der Ven against Brighton. Again, Spurs have actually surprised a lot of people, myself included. They find themselves 3rd in the league at the moment. They've had 5 clean sheets. Is that 5 clean sheets? 3 clean sheets in 4 games. Clean sheet against Burnley, clean sheet against Man City, which is huge, and 1 against West Ham. But basically just surprising everyone so far this year. 1 midweek against Villarreal as well, so they've got a bit of form on their side. And as you can see, Van der Ven, 6 or more points in 3 of those 4 games. Clean sheet against Burnley, as I said, clean sheet against Man City, and then the goal and the clean sheet against West Ham. So I think, again, Brighton a little bit sloppy, losing 2-1 against Brighton. Obviously, a huge shock win against Man City, similar to Spurs' 2-0 win. Losing 2-0 to Everton and then drawing 1-1 against Fulham as well. So, Brighton not the best start to the season, and I think Tottenham are on the other side. They're on the other end, having a really good start to the season, and a bit of confidence has come their way. I'm going to go with Munoz as well in defence. 7.9 million. That does put him in the top half for most expensive defenders. But he is playing West Ham, so West Ham have played poor this season. They've actually only won 1 game this year in the first 5 games since the season started, obviously including the cup game. Lost 3-0 against Sunderland, 5-1 against Chelsea, 3-2 against Wolves, and 3-0 against Tottenham before winning 3-0 against Nottingham Forest a few games ago. Palace haven't actually lost yet. They've drew 3 and won 2. Well, actually, technically drew 4 because they drew against Millwall as well midweek in their cup game. Beat Aston Villa 3-0 very convincingly, as you can see there. Clean sheet against Chelsea. Clean sheet against Aston Villa. And then obviously a clean sheet against Sunderland. So very, very good. Obviously no attacking returns for him yet, I don't think, is there? 1 assist. So last year he had a lot of attacking returns for a defender, so hopefully he's going to be able to get that against West Ham. West Ham's defence is absolutely terrible. Really, really poor. Obviously, as I said, they conceded how many goals? 11, 12, 13, 14 goals in the last 5 games. So, I think there's a lot of opportunity for Crystal Palace to be able to push forward. Again, a lot of good options in the defence. A lot of big games. Obviously, again, Aston Villa is a good one against Sunderland, but Sunderland have overperformed a little bit, so I would be wary on Aston Villa. Obviously, you got Arsenal against Man City. But again, I think these 3 are the solid options, especially these games as well. So if you want to try and pick anyone in and around these kind of games, I think they're solid options. In terms of midfield, I'm going to start off with Morgan Gibbs-White. They play Burnley. Only 1 assist on the season so far. And to be honest, Forest haven't started off the season very well. 3-1 win against Brentford in the opening day was their only win so far. That's where he got his assist. Since then, 1-1 draw, 3-0 loss, and then a 3-0 loss against Arsenal as well. So not many attacking returns from Morgan Gibbs-White, but I think this is a fixture that they can sort of turn around a little bit, try and get some more attacking options on the field, and get up the field a little bit more against Burnley. Burnley lost 3-0 against Tottenham on their opening day, beat Sunderland 2-0, lost 3-2 unluckily against Man United, and then lost 1-0 against Burnley. So they actually played really well against Liverpool. Defensively, Forest they were last year very solid, but this year not looking as good. But I think if anyone's going to create a little bright spark for this team, it's going to be Morgan Gibbs-White. And then I'm going to stick to the same game, and I'm going to go for Anthony for Burnley. 2 goals, 1 assist so far this season. Again, as I said, played very well against Liverpool in the last game, losing 1-0, a late goal as well. Played very, very well against Man United as well, where he got his goal. Very unlucky to lose that game. Sunderland played very well again, a goal and an assist in that game. And Spurs got a little bit unlucky on their opening day, maybe a little bit of nerves and things like that. But this is a game again similar to Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he can create a lot of opportunities for Burnley as the underdog in this game. And I think actually there is a world where we see both of these two scoring a goal or getting an assist in this game. So I'm going to roll with these two. Next up is Semenyo. Big fan of Semenyo. I think Semenyo's a very, very good player. I think he's very unlucky not to get a move away from Bournemouth this year. He does play Newcastle. Newcastle obviously slipped a little bit since Isak left. Won only one, and that was 1-0 against Wolves. Drew 0-0 against Leeds. 0-0 against Aston Villa. And then 3-2 against Liverpool. Excuse me. 3 goals, 2 assists for Semenyo. Very good opening day against Liverpool where he scored 2. Wolves got the assist. Spurs, nothing much doing there. Even though they did actually win as well. And then in Brighton, he got another goal and another assist. So his goal contributions looking very good. Form of 8.85. 7 or more points in 3 or 4 games. Again, I think it's a decent fixture for them. Newcastle look a bit jaded, a bit slow, especially since Isak left. Nothing much happening on attack. Only scored 3 goals in the last 5 games. So they are struggling on attack. So I think Bournemouth can actually sneak a win, and Semenyo can be key in that. Moving on to, back to Tottenham. We mentioned Tottenham a minute ago. Again, kind of a favourable matchup for Tottenham. Playing against Brighton. Kudus comes into the team. He's the new winger for the team. 2 assists in the opening day. Played well against Man City as well, getting that impact point as well. Bournemouth getting minus impact play, actually. I thought he got a positive one, a negative one. And then West Ham, obviously, a shot on target impact play as well. So he has played very well in his fixtures so far. 2 assists, expecting a lot more as the season progresses. And then again, Brighton haven't really done too much in their opening couple of games either. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for Tottenham to be able to get a clean sheet and a few goals in this game. Again, moving on to the side over here. Another Chelsea player could be a good option against a Man United midfield. Cole Palmer being one of the ones that you would target out of those. Morgan Rogers, again, another Villa player. Morgan Rogers does need to sort of step it up a little bit at the moment. But outside of them, I think these are the games that you want to be targeting for the midfield options. And then for your forward options, we're going to go with Ollie Watkins, and he is going to be my captain. Not played relatively well to start the season. No goals, no assists. But obviously we all know what Ollie Watkins can do when he gets rolling. Villa have actually they've struggled a lot actually in the first couple of games. Haven't actually won yet. Lost 3-0 against Palace, lost 1-0 against Brentford. And as you can see, Ollie Watkins hasn't really done too much in these games. Does it say shots? No shots. So I think this is a game where they can kind of pencil this one down against a newcomer team and try and spread their wings a little bit. Hopefully try and get a win. And Ollie Watkins is crucial for goals for them. Obviously, as I said, they've actually only scored 1 goal in the last 5 games. That was in the Cup against Brentford midweek. Harvey Elliott got that goal. But yeah, just really, really struggling to find goals. And I think this is a game, as I said, that they will pencil in to try and bag a few goals. So I'm going to captain him this week in hope that he does turn his little goal scoring drought around. And then we're going to go to Haaland. Big game against Arsenal. Tough game against Arsenal. But Man City, Erling Haaland especially, for him to be at 7.5 million is absolutely ludicrous. He is cheaper than obviously most of the players on my team actually, which is baffling to me considering he is a huge goal scoring threat against anyone. 5 goals to start the season, obviously 2 of those against Man United in last week's game. Scored again against Brighton, and then he scored a couple again against Wolves. So he's a huge goal scoring threat. I think it's tough not to put him in your team at this price. did score against Arsenal in the last two head-to-heads actually. And yeah, I actually think Man City win this game, and I think Haaland is crucial at that price. I think he's a huge value play, and I think, even though it's against Arsenal, he's going to be the main goal scoring threat. Seeing Gyökeres at this price is a little bit baffling for me. I'd rather pay that price for Haaland than I would for Gyökeres. So I'm going to go for Haaland. Be a little bit of a differential pick, I think, but I'm relatively comfortable with picking Haaland as a striker. And then we're going to finish off with the new Newcastle forward, Walter Maid. Scored in his only appearance last week against Wolves in their 1-0 win. Again, mentioned Bournemouth before, susceptible to conceding goals. Conceded 4 against Liverpool, 2 against Brentford, and 1 against Brighton. Newcastle have struggled a little bit to score goals, only scored 3 in the last 5. But again, since they have now got an out-and-out striker, that could turn around. I think this is an ideal little matchup for Newcastle to sort of play against a team at a similar level, if you like. So I'm going to go for Walter Maid to finish off the team. But as you can see, I've got a lot of budget left over, 6.7 million. That's mainly down to Haaland being that price. So if you did want to go for someone a little bit more expensive in the other areas, I'd just be a little bit wary of some of these fixtures. That game, Arsenal against Man City, is a very, very tough game. Everyone's going to be targeting Aston Villa against Sunderland in that one. Again, another tough game. Man United and Chelsea, tough game. And then obviously Spurs and Brighton looks like a good game, but it's tough to find out who's going to be starting for Spurs up front. Obviously, let's have a look in the forwards here. Tottenham. So Richarlison has actually been playing well for them up front, but he didn't start last week. Matthias Tell started up front, so I actually had him in one of my teams, and I only got a couple of points because he was on the bench. Solanke, obviously, he is on the verge of coming back from injury. Kolo Muani, new signing, and again, like I said, Christian Tell has been starting up front as well. So it's tough to find out who's going to be starting up front for them. But I think, as a rule of thumb, I think this is my favourite lineup for the week. So Sanchez in goal, Cucurella, Van der Ven, Munoz in defence, Morgan Gibbs-White, Jadon Anthony, Semenyo, Kudus in midfield, Ollie Watkins, Erling Haaland, and Walter Maid up front with Ollie Watkins captain. I may even switch that to Walter Maid as captain as well, depending on how the week goes. So that is my team reveal for this week's fantasy football. Okay, then we're going to move over to the betting side of things. So I'm going to go over to the sportsbook. Fancying very competitive odds in terms of their betting odds. We're going to go over to the Premier League. I've only got five plays this week in the football games. So the first one is going to be in the Liverpool and the Everton game, the early kickoff. As a rule, I've always sort of gone with never back the early kickoff, and I'm going to go for draw or Everton in the double chance. So Everton or draw. My reasonings for this are, again, like I said, never back the early kickoff. Something always happens. Liverpool haven't actually played, as well as their they've started 5-0 in the season start, one game in the Champions League as well, which they won. They've actually scored late goals in all 5. So Salah scoring. Chizea scoring in the 88th minute and then the 94th minute for Salah. Against Newcastle, the new kid, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, for Liverpool scored in the 90 plus 10. Szoboszlai, 83rd minute winner. And then against Burnley, Salah scored a penalty in the 95th minute. And then against Atletico Madrid midweek, Van Dijk scored in the 92nd minute. So haven't actually played as well as their record states. They got a few late goals, a few lucky late goals. Everton started the season very well. Lost 1-0 against Leeds in the opening day, but then beat Brighton 2-0, beat Wolves 3-2, and then got a draw against a tough Aston Villa team. It's just one of those differential Merseyside derby. In the last 3 games, Everton have won 1, they've drew 1, and Liverpool have won 1, so pretty even across the board. But Everton have always played these kind of games like very gritty. Won a handful, drew a handful. But I think in this one, the way Liverpool have started out the season, Everton are looking a little bit better now with Jack Grealish and a few other players, Dewsbury Hall, a few other players coming into the team, solidifying them up a little bit. I'm going to go for Everton or draw on the double chance. The next one I'm going to go for is going to be in the Chelsea and Man United game, and I'm actually going to go for Chelsea to win. Tough one as a United fan, but again, as I said in the breakdown before, United haven't played that well. A lucky win against Burnley, huge loss against Man City, obviously a big loss against Grimsby, a draw against Fulham, and then a loss against Arsenal. So against these kind of top teams, we've actually struggled. 3-0 and 1-0 against Arsenal and Man City. Chelsea, on the other hand, not lost in the Premier League yet. 5-1 against West Ham, 2-0 against Fulham. The other two games were draws. I just think this game is shaping up for a Chelsea win. In the last 3 games, Chelsea have won 2 and Man United have drew 1. But again, I think the way they've started, they're on 2 opposite ends. A few injuries for Man United as well. I think that the safer pick in this game is Chelsea to win. As hard as it is for me to bet that one, that's where we're going to have to go. The next one's going to be in the Bournemouth and Newcastle game. Obviously, mentioned the goal scoring threat for both teams. Watermaid coming in, being their main out and out striker, which they've missed for the first couple of games with no Isak. He came in last week, scored on his debut. Obviously, Semenyo and co have played very well for Bournemouth. I think this is a game where we can see over 2.5 goals for both teams, scoring relatively consistently. They're over hitting in 2 out of 3 games for Bournemouth in the last 5. 1 in the last 5 for Newcastle, but again, as I said, they now have an out-and-out striker, so they can build around that strike force. They have potential to score a lot of goals now with their attacking, Alanga and Anthony Gordon as well. And similar thing for Bournemouth, playing up front with with Semenyo and co working around that attack. So I think we can see over 2.5 goals in this game. And then we're going to go down and we're going to back Aston Villa to win finally. Tough one. They've had a really, really tough season to start the season. Winless. Sunderland have won 2 of their opening 4 games in the Premier League. But again, this is one where Aston Villa are going to have to try and turn it around. They've had poor starts. They've played against some sort of mediocre teams as well. I think Sunderland are just below that mid-level tier, and I think Aston Villa are sort of in that mid-level tier. I think this is a bit of a mismatch. When Aston Villa are playing on their day, I think they can win this game fairly comfortably, and I think that is what we're going to have to see in this game. I think Aston Villa are going to grab the win. And then we're going to have a pop in this Man City and Arsenal game. Arsenal are reasonably favoured in this game. For me, I think Man City can actually get the win, but I'm going to go for the double chance of draw or Man City. Arsenal have only lost 1 of the last 5 games. Obviously, that was against Liverpool, losing 1-0. Beat Leeds 5-0, Man United 1-0, Forest 3-0, and Bilbao midweek 2-0. Man City, opening day win at 4-0. Lost 2-0 against Tottenham, lost 2-1 against Brighton, but then came back, bounced back, won 3-0 against Man United. It's a tough game to predict, really. As I said before, Haaland scored in the last 2 head-to-heads. And if you look at the last 5 head-to-heads, Arsenal have won 2. Man City have drew the other 3. It's just one of those games where I think Man City are hugely underrated. I think their squad is very, very good. I think Arsenal's squad is very, very good too. But I think Man City being the underdog by this much, taking them with draw, and the result is a little bit insane, especially with their goal scoring threat up front with Erling Haaland. I just think they can cause a lot more problems than Arsenal can cause. Can cause Man City. So I'm going to go with Man City draw or win. So there's my 5 bets for the Premier League this weekend. We're going to draw Everton, Chelsea to win, over 2.5 goals in the Bournemouth and Newcastle game, Aston Villa to win, and then draw or Man City in the Premier League for this game week 5. That's me done and dusted for this episode. So obviously make sure you head over to my Twitter, as I mentioned before, drop me a follow, notifications on, so you don't miss a single Premier League episode or NFL episode. Posted both in the past couple of days. Drop over to Twitter as well for some extra plays that I'm going to be playing. So I've got a weekend long parlay, which is 5 plays, 5 different sports from across the weekend, which we cash on a regular basis, to be honest. A few more parlays and stuff like that, and bet builders for the NFL coming up over the weekend. I may even do another one for the Premier League, so make sure you're over there. Drop me a follow, drop me a like, a retweet. Similar for YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing, drop me a follow, a share, comment as well your favourite picks for this weekend. Notifications on so you don't miss a single episode. Similar for TikTok as well. If you're on TikTok, I'll be dropping some shorts and things like that with my plays on. So I'm going to sign out. Good luck to everyone in fantasy football this week, and good luck to anyone who's having a little bet this weekend. Make sure you gamble responsibly. Only bet you can afford to lose. I'll be back next week with the recap and next week's plays. So I'm going to catch you later.